I'm going to say, well, good morning where you are, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're the complete opposite side of the world to I.
Yeah, here's like 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Okay, so yeah, I think there's a huge difference between here in Malaysia, right?
11 hours. So it's 8
11
p.m.
hours,
here.
just
Yes.
that. Yeah,
You're very
wow.
keen. 9 o'clock in the morning. You're up. Are you ill? Are you sick?
No, no, no.
No.
So,
So that's me, originally from London, now currently living here.
yeah. So, why did you go to Malaysia? Was it because of business, because of family? I don't know.
Uh, I I came here originally. I, I quit my job in London in 2010. I was a project manager in London. I had
Okay,
nothing to do with teaching education, and I went into the world of teaching. First of all, I went to Sri Lanka for 2 years.
okay.
Well, I spent 2 years in Sri Lanka. Then I went to Chiang Mai University to do my teacher training, and I was there for 3 years. And then I came to Malaysia for 3 months because I wanted to do some writing here.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So
So
I
you've
did
been
some.
there since then.
So well, on and off. I was here for 3 months, and I went to Sri Lanka for 3 months, and I came back here for 2 months, but then I returned 2014,
Hmm.
and I fell into a job
Yeah.
working teaching at a school. I stayed for 2 years, and then I got a bit bored and a bit frustrated. So then I went to Spain for 2 years. And then I
Hmm.
came back to Malaysia for holiday. And then while I was here on summer holiday, I got offered a job at an international school which was opening. So I stayed. So I
Yeah.
stayed for 2.5 years until COVID, and then all the schools shut. So I went back to London for a while, and then
Hmm.
COVID, as we know, just dragged on and on and on and on. And by the time I got back here, which is 2022, so the school had shut, and like most other international schools.
Yeah.
But then I found out, because of the money I had invested in Malaysian banks and because of my age, I could take early retirement here. So I thought, let's do
Yeah.
that.
That's nice. Yeah, that's
So,
nice.
so I'm here because it's a very easy country to live
In
in,
what
but
terms? About the culture, about people?
it's well, I don't want to sound like a typical lazy Brit because I did study other languages in the past, but because Malaysia is a former British colony, everybody
Yeah.
speaks English. It is very widely spoken. It is the first language of hospitality, of business, and
Hmm.
education. So everybody speaks English, so that makes things a lot easier. Secondly, the cost of living is very low here
Very cheap.
compared
Yeah.
to
I imagine.
compared. Yes, and thirdly, it's a very multicultural country,
Yeah.
especially compared to, Thailand. Thailand's fine, Thai food, temples, but that's about it. After 3 years, it just all gets a bit monotonous. But because of the history of Malaysia, it's very multicultural.
Yeah.
So, the races and the religions, and it's reflected in the architecture and the food. So literally within 5 or 10 minutes on my little motor scooter, I can go out and I can get street food, Malaysian, Indian, Chinese, Thai,
Yeah.
Vietnamese, plus all the European food.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and of course, it's never winter.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes,
I
that's one
presume
thing I
you're
did.
enjoying your journey there, you know.
Sorry.
So I presume that you're enjoying your
I
journey.
am actually, yes. It's, I didn't realize it until some of my students on here said, where do you think you'll go next? Where do you think you'll go next? And I thought,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know where I'll go next, and I'm not planning on going anywhere next. So it actually means, for the first time for about the last 30 years of my life, I actually feel settled. I know I won't
Yeah.
stay here forever. I can't. But at the
Yeah.
moment, I'm fine here. I've made a few friends, but I've learned living in London, it's quality over quantity when it comes to friendships, and it's a good geographically, it's a good base because from here, I can very easily get to Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Bali, Sri Lanka, all those countries, all in a very short space of time.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice thing. I see myself like traveling to other countries to get to know more about the culture and stuff, but at the same time, it's really hard when you have all your family, all your stuff here,
It is difficult. I mean, I did it.
You see?
I did it. But the thing is, it was easy for me because I left home when I was 17 anyway.
Oh, wow.
I grew up with my family near Liverpool, which I absolutely hated. I hated my hometown. I hated Liverpool. I hated the accent. So as soon as I could, I got out of it and I moved to the other end of England. So I really haven't been close to my family for decades. So it made it quite easy. I mean, my father left the family when I was 10, which sort of left me sort of a bit of taste.
That's hard.
Yes. So it's just me and my mother, so she struggled a bit. But she was quite supportive. My father was extremely supportive. We did maintain some contact for many years. Now we obviously much closer than we were in the past. But I always remember one thing he said to me when I was 18 years of age. I'd already moved away from then. And he said to me, I'm glad you are doing what you want to do in life, not what society wants you to do.
Yeah.
So I was never, once I left home, I was never particularly close to my family. And of course, when it came to dreaded Christmases, I hate, so I was always sort of obliged to spend Christmas with the family, which I did, I think, till about 21. And a friend of mine in London said, I've got some friends coming over from Sweden. They're spending Christmas with me. Would you like to spend Christmas with us in my house?
Wow.
So I thought, do you know what? I will. And I've never looked back. It was just so nice because going back to spend Christmas with the family, the weather's dreadful, rubbish on television, and it's all very claustrophobic. You're all obliged to have a nice time, open presents on Christmas Day and all that nonsense we actually hated. And suddenly I was just free from expectations and obligations. And after that, I never did another Christmas with my family. So afterwards, I always went to Europe. I always went to Europe at Christmas. Because I think the other thing I hated about Christmas in Britain is we take it quite seriously. So everything, we have this paralyzing shutdown from sort of Christmas Eve to the 26th.
Here in Brazil, we have the same culture.
And I hate it. And you can't go anywhere because that is awful. And there's no escape. When I went back to stay Christmas with the family, I couldn't leave for 2 days because there were no trains. So I started spending Christmases in Europe, quite close destinations, and I went further afield. And it's very liberating. Thinking it's Christmas Day, I'm in Switzerland or Portugal, and it's sort of semi-normal. It's like a public holiday. You can still get public transport, and a lot of eating places are open. And I thought, this is so refreshing. But then it's only years later when I started traveling further afield. So no, it was actually quite an easy thing to do. I didn't even think twice about it. In 2010, I gave up everything and left London.
Yeah.
Sold my apartment, and I just thought, and I've never looked back.
Yeah. Wow, that's.
But I think, But what did it first was it's before I quit my job. I got so fed up and so frustrated and disengaged. I took a 6-month break because a lot of companies will give you up to 12 months sabbatical, what they call it. So they hold your job open. You have to fill in paperwork. Yes, I agree to come back on this date. And if you don't, they may give you a job to somebody else. So I went off 6 months and I came here. I'd never been to Asia before. I've done all over Europe and America and Africa. So I came here for
What
6
was
months.
your first impression?
My first impression, my first destination was Bangkok. And I'd never been anywhere quite like it. I mean, I'm used to European cities, sort of order and cleanliness and etc. And suddenly I'm in Bangkok. So it was quite overwhelming, but very different. But I just sort of got on with it, really. I thought, well, this is it. I didn't really have any expectations, apart from sort of the humidity and the Thai food. But I just sort of got on with it, really. I spent a couple of weeks in Bangkok, and then I just sort of gradually moved on through Cambodia and Vietnam and back into Thailand and Malaysia and Singapore. And then across to India and Sri Lanka. I've totally fell in love with Sri Lanka. That's what planted the seed. I totally fell in love with Sri Lanka. And so I returned to London to my job, and within 3 days, I just said, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Because you experience so much and you meet so many people, different people. It changed your life.
Yeah.
It changed my life. You don't realize it at the time until you go back, and it changed my life. And I thought, I can't.
And how did it change your life? Like
you just see things in a completely different way. I think, okay. For example, I had a good job, good money, pension, free travel on the railways. I had my own apartment, which I had bought several years earlier. I remember sitting in my apartment thinking, okay, I'm living in one of the most dynamic cities in the world, but I can't afford to do anything. Because by the time the bank takes a huge chunk of my monthly wage in mortgage payment, then subtract all the utility bills, and I thought, I've got no money left.
I see.
Secondly, I thought, I was surrounded by miserable people in London, really stressed up to the eyeballs, but nobody seemed to be happy. But you go to people I met in other countries who had very little, but they were just so happy.
Yeah. It's funny because, for example, I worked some time to a Canadian company that is basically a franchisor, and I worked with a lot of people from the UK, right. And they pass this impression they're never happy, they unhappy for whatever reason that could be. And I don't know if it's because the culture, if it's because of the weather, I don't know, because it is really strange. They seem like they're not receptive,
We used to be a very happy, easy-going country. I don't know what's changed. I think politics, Brexit, and COVID.
Really?
Yes. Brexit was very damaging to Britain, and people have now realised that. Of course, it's too late.
Wow,
secondly,
I didn't know about that. I didn't thought that the Brexit could do such damage to the culture,
Yes, a lot. And there's a lot of anger and resentment, especially now for sort of people of your age and your generation who couldn't vote for or against Brexit and now facing
it's strange because
the repercussions because now they can't do the things I could when I was their age. I travel freely around Europe, and you think, oh, if I want to go to live or work or study or live with my boyfriend or girlfriend in a European country, you could just go and stay there and learn the language, learn the culture, and that's it. We can't do that now.
Yeah, I didn't know about that because, in my perspective, I believe that the UK separating from the European Union should give them more independent feeling, something like that. I don't know.
That was the plan, but the problem is that was the plan, but the problem is the government at the time didn't have a plan.
Yeah, I see.
That's only sort of started to sort of creep out since then, because the Brexit crew like Boris Johnson and Rees-Mogg, I don't think they were expecting to win. So they had no plan. And I could see it because I was here. And I thought, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking. What is your plan? What are your plans post-Brexit? They didn't have any.
Yeah.
And secondly, we don't make anything anymore as a country. We had the heyday. We had the Industrial Revolution. We created a lot of inventions, but that's all disappeared. We don't make anything anymore. Anything we do have has either been privatized or sold to Japanese or German companies. We don't own anything. We don't make anything. So we don't have a strong economy.
Yeah.
There is no money in the country.
Wow.
That is the problem.
Wow. And you also have the problem with Islam now, right?
I don't know how much of a problem it is because I haven't lived there for 15 years.
Yeah, so what I've been seeing is that basically how do you say, like the courts of the Sharia have been like interfering a lot with a lot of aspects, so people feel that they cannot, how could I say, express themselves in their own culture, so they have to follow another culture that basically don't belong there. That's their vision of all of this, and not only on the UK but in all of Europe.
There's a lot of Sweden, I think, Germany, parts of France. Yes.
Yeah.
We welcome them in, but then it's all just gone terribly wrong. So and no country seems to know what to do about it.
Yeah. I saw that if I'm not mistaken, Poland actually banned or rejected something like that.
Correct.
About the culture,
That's it. And because I have, one of my regular students is a project manager for some Polish and Emirati company, and I asked him, "Is it true? All these things I see on social media, etc. Is it true? Poland is basically a low crime country, etc." He said, "Yes." So I don't know. Yes. Talking of, did you read the document I sent you?
No, actually not. I don't think I received any document at all. You sent me via the chat.
Yes, a few days ago.
Let me check. Just a second.
Because I thought, right, a 1 hour lesson, so I don't want to just sit and ask questions for an hour because it doesn't achieve anything.
Yeah, here on Cambly, sometimes when I schedule the 1 hour classes, just like pure conversation, like to doing with the teachers and all. So I've been here on Cambly like I think for a year and a half, more or less. And I had a regular tutor. He's like an Irishman that lives here in Sao Paulo as well. He's nice and stuff. But I felt like my English reached a very nice point, and I need to have more fluency with other accents, other people, because I already have the experience to talk to people, to understand and comprehend spoken English, So that was basically it. And now I'm basically like just having classes with different tutors. I see the document.
Yes, it was discussing opinions, and it was yes, it's a transcript from a podcast between a Brit and American. But maybe we do that another time. I don't know, but it's follow up.
Yeah, but what was your plan? Like,
well, that was the plan. So that you go through it, and then we all right. Well, obviously, I won't ask you questions on the transcript. Because we can do that another time, including all the vocabulary and the grammar points in it and the idiomatic expressions, etc. The second part, because it's, well, actually, I want to get to know about you first before we come to the second part of discussing opinions. Sure. So I know where you are and what you do. So how would you describe yourself to me? 3 personality adjectives.
About my personality? Wow, that's an unusual question, but I'll try my best. Yeah, I would say that I am energetic. I like talking to people. That's why I schedule 1-hour classes. Yeah, so I'm energetic. I like talking to people. I like trying different things. Different.
So energetic, sociable, and
yeah. What else? I could say that I love trying different things. So go to different places, meet new people, meet new cultures. Meet new teachers.
So visiting different places. So where was the last place outside of Brazil you visited?
Well, I've never been outside of São Paulo. Okay.
Really?
Most that no, actually I have, but not outside from Brazil. I have been to Floripa, in Santa Catarina, the other state in the south.
My geography is pretty hopeless, I'm afraid. I very seldom meet Brazilians.
Yeah, it is a very nice place. It's basically a very big island, just next to the state of Santa Catarina in the south. It's one of the last states in the south, and it's a very beautiful place because it's surrounded by beaches and a lot of different people, a lot of different countries come to Floripa, like a lot of Argentinians, Uruguayans, Peruvians, a lot of people from all South America come to Floripa, even mainly when it's like in the end of the year, and everybody it's on vacation, wants to have a good time. So it's a very beautiful place indeed. But here in São Paulo, the nice thing is that you have it is a very big city, and you have a lot of different places to go. It's one of the biggest cities here in Latin America,
Yes.
So you have even some neighborhoods that you can meet a lot of different people. For example, in Liberdade, the neighborhood of Liberdade, it's mainly about the Japanese culture, and you can meet like people from other countries speaking other languages. There are also other neighborhoods that you can meet Korean people, Bolivian people. So it's I would say it's a very diverse state, because it is a very big city, and that helps socializing with everyone. And besides that, you have a lot of stuff to do here in São Paulo. You can go to, like I said, different neighborhoods. You can meet, discover new different cities. For example, I went to a city called Paranapiacaba. That's a 2-hour travel city beside São Paulo. It is basically an English village that was used to transport coffee from São Paulo to Santos.
We got everywhere.
Yes, and it's very nice because you can see the architecture is different, the people are different, all the aspects of the culture is different, and you had a lot of stuff to do. So it's
I think that's one of the reasons I fell in love with Sri Lanka when I first visited there, because Sri Lanka was, well, it was Dutch, then it's Portuguese, then it was Dutch, then it's Portuguese, and then we just came in, pushed everybody out, and then sort of built the country. But there's a lot of history and there's a lot of culture and charm to Sri Lanka, which I liked very much. Yes, you've got all the British buildings, and we've got the dilapidated railway system, which we built, which still functions today, which hasn't been modernized for 100 years. But one thing I like about it was once you get out of it, I don't know, Colombo, the capital city, was pretty vile. Once you get out, teenagers are still teenagers, boys are still boys.
Yeah.
Which we've lost in Britain. They were fun, they were interactive. Because I worked at a school in Sri Lanka. I worked at 2 schools in Sri Lanka, and the junior school I worked at, even though I'd say about 60% of my the students who came to school didn't even have shoes on their feet. They were so poor, but they were some of the greatest students I'd ever worked with, and they were fun and they were interactive, and they wanted to learn. And cricket is their national sport, and almost any town, any village you travel through Sri Lanka, there's always kids playing cricket on a piece of wasteland somewhere. And they may not even have no proper stumps or cricket ball. They're just parts of a palm tree or coconut tree. So so that's one thing. A lot of culture, a lot of charm about Sri Lanka. So it's a bit like the place you've just described.
Yeah.
I have actually had one Brazilian friend. We met in London years ago, and he went back to Brazil and he came back to London some years ago, and then he returned. He's to Sao Paulo, and he said, "Oh, come and join me, come and join me, come and join me." And I thought, well, it's a long way from Malaysia, one day, but now he's left and he's now in Lisbon in Portugal. So he's all over the place.
Yeah, and that's a very common thing here in Brazil, because I see that the culture here in Brazil is that people tend to be very receptive, even mainly when it comes to receiving strangers from other countries. Like when they try to speak Portuguese, even if it's a little bit we tend to be more open to this experience. And another thing is that, for example, the good minds, I would say, the ones that are highly technical, the people that are highly technical have a really good skill, if it is with technology or even other area, they tend to leave the country and trying to seek better opportunities, and that's that's a very good common thing, because otherwise people leave the country.
Include you?
Yeah, I'm trying to, because
you're on the list of wannabes. Where would you go?
Yes, I have no idea. I would say at first I would try to go to Australia. I have a friend in Brisbane that I don't know, we could possibly meet him, try to know more about the culture. I hear a lot of good things about Australia. That they have a very similar culture here in Brazil that coming from Brazilian people.
I was in sort of relaxed lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly about that.
Yeah, they're very. I don't know. It is that Australians that live in London are not. I don't know what it is. They're just sort of a bit up their own asses with attitude and sort of doubly as noisy. But when you actually go to Australia, it's just chill out, and it's just. I think it's because the country's so vast, and about 95% of the population just lives around the perimeter, and that's it. And towns are very sprawling and low rise, and life just goes with it. It's just, maybe tomorrow we'll have a barbecue, and next day we'll go for a walk in the mountains.
And about leaving the country, another thing that I see is that, for example, even if you're doing like a white collar work here in Brazil, if you earn at most $1,000 to $2,000 at max per month, which is like $2,000 per month would be like absurd, like the 1% of the population here. You could easily do that as a blue collar work in whichever country that be, even Australia, the United States. And that's something that is really funny, because if I was to do manual work, would do much more money than I'm doing here with a specialized job.
I don't know what the cost of living is like in Sao Paulo, but I'm sure
it's if you earn in reais, Brazilian reais, it's very high,
Is it?
But
Australia is expensive.
It's moderate. It's not that high, but it's not that easy living here,
Right. So Australia is not cheap.
Yeah, so it's a midterm.
I have two friends in Melbourne. Yes, The last time
Yeah.
I just
And
coming from London, I thought, my God, this is so expensive.
yeah.
I just couldn't afford to do anything. Fine, it was just which is fine because I was staying with one of my friends anyway. He's got a big house, so we
Yeah.
just self catered. He's a great cook.
Hmm.
So that's fine enough. Thank goodness for that. Eating out was just off the list. It's like London is
Hmm.
once a month, and it's an absolute treat. Whereas here, it's sort of once a day. I just eat out every day here because it
Yeah.
is so cheap. Man.
Yeah. And other thing that I see here in Brazil is that the people that have a good level of English or any other language like Spanish probably, they try to seek remote jobs to work for other countries
Mhm.
to earn in
And their
US
money.
dollars living here
Yeah.
in Brazil. That would be the dream, you know. And that's basically it. So um, I see that at least for since I would say 2022 from now on, people are trying to get out of the country with the most effort, you know, because now that we have a left-wing government that they creating like restrictions to working outside, receiving in dollars, more taxes, politics. It's hard, you know, and people are trying to escape from that.
I think because I've visited a lot of countries. Some of us I spent quite long periods of time, and I think basically this world is full of people who all want to be somewhere else.
Yeah,
It's the same in Malaysia. They'll talk about the brain drain because the ones with good qualifications, big good universities, or Malaysians who've gone overseas to study either don't want to come back, or when they do come back, then they're not here for very long and they go elsewhere.
yeah,
I read a few days ago quite an alarming statistic that 500,000 Brits left the United Kingdom last year,
yeah.
and
That's a lot.
that's a lot. I don't know where they're all
That's a lot.
going. You know, either they're going to Spain to sit on the beach and drink beer, or they're coming to Asia to
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, possibly.
to work. I don't know. It's when I worked in Spain for 2 years at a language institute in Spain, and most of my students were university students, and
Yeah.
their aim was to get through their degree, get a B2 level of English, and get out of Spain. I thought, where's everybody going?
Yeah, exactly. So, um, I even see like for example, people learning English at least a good level to teach here in Brazil, even if they don't have the skills to teach. You know, they're not used to teaching any subject at all. But teaching English, I think it's a useful skill in any country in the world. But here in Brazil, it's at least something that is in high demand, I would say.
Well, it could be worse than when I was doing my teaching course at Chiang Mai University, because after a period of time, we then had to actually go out into schools to deliver lessons.
Hmm.
And most of the schools are government schools, and most of the schools I visited, I asked to meet the English teacher, and of course, generally it was a Thai lady. None of them spoke English. And I thought, well, how can you
Wow.
teach English and not speak a word of it? I thought, no wonder Thailand has got one of the worst education systems in the world. And I thought, how does this
Wow.
work? I know.
It
It'd be
doesn't.
like it doesn't. It'd be like me going to London to teach Greek. Just
Yeah, you don't focus damn thing of Greek. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
that's
not at
true.
all. No. But it's not. I mean, your language is not an easy one to learn. I did actually study Portuguese for 1 year
Yeah,
at the
it's not that
University of
easy.
Westminster, London. It is actually because it's the spoken aspect of it. Because I
Yeah,
studied French for 2 years. That's fine with that, and then I moved on to German, which is more grammatical. Then I moved on to Portuguese. Oh my goodness, that was so
it's
difficult.
it's yeah, it's very difficult because uh, from my perspective, from people from another country trying to learn Portuguese. So we don't speak the Portuguese in a perfect way. We speak very quick. We speak very we. It's not that we use slangs, but we speak in a manner that people are not used to. And for the people that it's not a native, it's very hard to understand.
I guess there's no difference to somebody flying into London for the first time, because
Yeah,
most language students will
it's the
think
same thing.
everybody. Yeah, I think most of my. I mean, I've tried to tell them this, but most of my students in the past, I think they still have the idea that everybody in England speaks like Prince Charles or Sherlock Holmes, and I said, well, yeah, get ready for the shock, because we don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
words. We found it's all phrasal verbs and idioms and a lot of slang, and we do speak very quickly, and it's a bit of a nightmare.
yeah. And we also have the accents here in Brazil from each state. So, for example, the people from Bahia, that is one of the northeast states. Sorry, they have a very hard accent. It would be like um, trying to make a comparison, like an Indian with a very English accent. A very hard accent. So it is a funny accent, and it's hard to understand, even for native Portuguese speakers. So yeah.
All right, so back to you. So you're energetic, sociable, and adventurous. So what makes you feel good in life? What makes you feel good?
Sports. I really like doing sports. Like running, boxing, uh, traveling with friends,
Boxing?
my
Oh, goodness.
girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes it's good to punch someone in the head, in the face.
Or to relieve your stress. I can think of a nicer way to relieve my stress. I'm boxing
Yeah,
somebody's face in. Okay. All right. Maybe I won't rush over.
yeah.
So I'm asking you lots of questions. So what is a question? What's that? Oh, sorry, I've just been. There's a cruise ship pulling out into sea, and it's got flashing a message along the side. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. Never noticed that before. So what is a question you wish people would ask you when they meet you for the first time?
Wow, that's a hard one. Let me think for a minute. Think. Asked me for the first time when they met me. Wow. I have no idea. I'm trying to think something like how do you feel about me? Something like that. What was my first impression about the person? I don't know.
Okay. So what is your favorite aspect about yourself then?
I would say I'm very open. I'm flexible in that aspect of dealing with people. I would say
Open-minded, outgoing, flexible. So if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
That is very open. I mean, in what term? You mean about my personality or about anything at all? About my personality?
Okay, it could be anything at all. It could be physical or it could be mental.
No, I'm satisfied with my physical. This is a good thing, but about my personality. I would say try to be more open about my feelings sometimes. Sometimes when I might get angry or sad, I tend to close myself to people. Try to do it with myself.
All right. I think that's human nature,
I could
isn't
change
it?
that.
Right. Human nature. You think? So what is something you believe in strongly?
That I believe in strongly. Wow. I mean, there is a lot of things that I could believe strongly, but trying to be simple. Um, I don't know. I think hard work is rewarded uh, in a good aspect of it. That what you reap, what you sow. You know, if you
Oh yeah, I was yes. What goes around comes around. Yes.
yeah. So
Mm.
if you plan good things, you're good to people, you're kind, you work hard, then you'll be rewarded. You know, there's no reason like you're going to be punished. Uh, even though that sometimes that it's put in the question for us because even that we try to be kind, we try to be good, and we might not see the results in a short term time, you know,
Mhm.
and that it's a hard thing because it makes us question uh, if it's worth it, you know.
Yes, but when I've gone through tumultuous periods in my life in the past, people, my closest friends said everything happens for a reason,
Yeah,
and at the time
exactly.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to punch them, thinking, "Oh, where's this reason?" Yeah. But
Yeah.
years later, when I look back, it's true. At the time, you can't see it or you don't want to see it, but it's very true.
Hmm.
Yes. So, how do you decide what is right and what is wrong?
Um, this is a hard question. I believe that for some aspects in life, we have a natural sense of what's right and what's wrong, you know. So you can feel that what you're doing is right or what you're doing is wrong in
Hmm.
some term, you know. Even though, for example, I can't say that it's something natural to the human being because it is not, but because we need to develop a moral sense, ethics, understand what is right and what is wrong. Because at first we might not have that sense naturally, but I think after the human beings already develop, we have this natural sense. You know, we already develop in a sense that we know what we have to do and we know what we don't must do, you know. um, so
We
yeah.
should, but so many people don't display that, do they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, to you, it's instinct, it's your upbringing.
Sorry, what?
So, to you, how do you know from what is right and what is wrong? It's instinct, it's your human nature, it's your background, it's your upbringing,
I wouldn't say it's a human nature because
or
in
your
my
human
perspective,
nature.
in my perspective, the human nature is not good. It tends to be
It's
bad
not
and to survive.
correct.
But with time, after we develop ourselves and we develop, like I said, the moral sense about people, or we understand, like, for example, what is family, what is friends, what is love, we develop this natural sense of what we need to do, you know, what is right and what is wrong. And sometimes it just comes natural, at least for me. Okay, so I have two options, and instinctively, I know what is right and what is wrong, what I should
Mm.
do that perhaps would be the most beneficial option for me. But for the human behavior, that is not natural. You know, the human behavior is not that good. I see. I presume. You
It's
know.
not. No. A lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot
Yeah.
of selfish behavior, rudeness. Yes. And I think the world is a more unpredictable and unsettling place post COVID.
Mm.
People's mentalities changed. I don't know if it's spending 2 years at home. I don't know. Uh, People have
Mm.
certainly become more restless.
Restless. What do you mean?
Yes. For example, because I returned to London 2020,
Mm-hmm.
Because like most people, I thought, okay, COVID, it'll all be over in a few months. But it went on and on and on. And to cut a long story short, I was there until late 2021.
Yeah.
And with still no prospect of going anywhere. Thailand is one of the few countries was actually letting people in from a selected number of countries, including mine. And I applied to do a course at North Bangkok University studying linguistics. I thought, okay, give myself a good reason to go, give myself
Yeah.
a purpose for going. I mean, I still had to jump through hoops with the Royal Thai consulate and submit an arm, a list of paperwork as long as your arm before I could get on a plane, COVID injection certificates and goodness knows what. Anyway, cut long story short, I got on a flight from Heathrow to Doha, where I was connecting on to Bangkok, and I was so relieved. And I wanted just to be on a plane because it got to the point, didn't it, during COVID? I'm never going to leave my country. I'm never going to see inside of a plane again. I'm never going to travel. Just need to go on and on. I remember thundered down the runway, took off into the skies. And I remember I burst into tears. I was so emotional. I thought, my God, I was like, some essence of normality is returning into this crazy world. Anyway, so she came around with a drinks trolley, and I basically hijacked the drinks trolley. And then there was an old lady sitting next to me, and I started talking to her, and she told me she was 75 years of age. She had a fear of flying. She'd never been anywhere in her life. Well, never anywhere outside Britain. She'd been to some European countries, but by sort of organised coach, etc. And she was going to South Africa for 3 months.
Wow.
She didn't know anybody there. I said, well, do you know anybody? She said, no. She said, I'm 75 years of age. I'm not getting any younger. I've just spent 2 years stuck in my bloody flat because of bloody COVID, she said to me. She said, and I want to do something with my life. So here I am overcoming my fear of flying. And I want to go to South Africa, and I want to do things I've never done before, like go to visit some game reserves, go hot air ballooning, see wildlife in their natural territory. And I thought, what a fantastic woman.
Yeah.
So, and since then, the world has been more restless. It's been more tumultuous. And I think people have seen the world and their life in a different light. Suddenly doing a 9-to-5 job to pay your mortgage suddenly seemed pointless and meaningless.
Yeah.
There are more people now doing quite odd things. One of the guys I follow, he's actually Portuguese, and he's done lots of road trips around Europe, etc. And he's currently cycling with his girlfriend from Singapore to Portugal.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, okay, slightly mad, but there we go. So he's made 2 videos through Malaysia. He thoroughly enjoyed his time here, and he's currently in Thailand. I have no idea which route he's taking. There's 2 British guys who are cycling from England to Australia. Currently, they are in Vietnam. And I'm thinking,
What?
exactly. So I think people think, well, the world is more unpredictable. We've no idea what's around the corner.
Yeah.
Let's just actually do something meaningful.
Yeah.
Right. So
That is true. I think that a lot here in Brazil. People, since from the pandemic of COVID, since 2020, people try to be more active, try to do different things, that they wouldn't normally do. Like you said, like this guy traveling all the way from London to Australia.
Australia,
Like what?
2 of them by bike. Yeah.
That is crazy. A sane person wouldn't normally do that. And I think that the lockdown caused this behavior in us. They try to lock us down and stop us from
Basically doing anything.
yeah.
Yes.
And
if there was another pandemic outbreak, do you think the people of Brazil would follow instructions like
No,
last.
no, because in the lockdown, people already didn't. People have a very how would you say, they have so much anger about the politics that they made about the lockdown,
Right.
because it was very hard on people. People like lost their jobs, lost all their
Mhm.
income, doing jobs that wouldn't normally do any evil to society. Even like selling things, people work like on those delivery apps, like
Yeah.
riding bikes on
Mhm.
the state, like just trying to get money. And so the lockdown was very, very hard on people, and people
Yes.
have this sentiment of anger,
Mm.
because they feel like they were preserved from continuing their lives,
Mm.
And I think that if there was another pandemic of any disease at all, and there was like this lockdown, people wouldn't like respect it, because
I don't think they
they
would.
didn't
Same
trust the
with them.
government. They
Mm.
didn't trust the government before. They
Yeah.
trust even less
They
now.
trust even less now. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, because I remember March 2021 getting my first vaccination, and they said, once you've got your second one, you get your freedom back. So I remember going for my second vaccination, and I remember being quite emotional afterwards, because you just think, what's all this about? And I thought, right, okay, now I've got my second vaccination. Now I want my freedom back, but I still couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I have friends all over Europe. I couldn't even go to France. So I thought, well, what's the purpose of all this? So no, I think it was. I don't know. It
It
was.
was very hard. It was a very hard time, like you said, I remember this as well. They sold this propaganda of the freedom by taking the vaccines,
Yeah.
and it was the same thing here in Brazil. I remember people selling the propaganda about the first vaccine, the first dose, and then this after the second one, we could like return to our normal lives. Then it
That's
came the
it.
third dose, the fourth dose, the fifth
It
dose,
just went on and on and on.
and
That's it. And just more. Yes. Anyway.
so yeah.
What I did. Okay. For the lesson I had planned, but obviously we can't do half of it because it didn't read the transcript. But then it was follow up because, well, one of my opening questions was,
Mhm.
or is, should I say, and where's your document? There is. So, which of these
Yeah.
subjects do you have strong opinions about?
I would say politics. I have the strongest one,
Do
because, like
you?
I said, people here in Brazil tend to normally don't trust the government.
Right.
Some people tend to trust it, and a major percentage of it don't
Right.
trust. But
Right.
at the same
So
time, they just don't care,
they don't
So
care. So politics. So do you think people are born to be leaders?
no. In the contrary, people tend to follow orders. I remember a guy saying that if you're born a lion in the jungle, people try to stop you from being from having your own nature of a lion, But at the same time, if you're born like a sloth in the jungle, you are a sloth. You are what you are. There's no changing who you are. And
Okay. It's like the okay. Yeah. So leopard never changes its spots. So
yeah,
can
and for some people, if you're, like I said, if you were a lion, and people tend to attack you because you are a lion, you're a natural, you're just yourself, and this type of personality kinds of stress other people, other aspects of our society. So here in Brazil, we have a very big culture of, how would you say, like passiveness, something like that.
of what? Passiveness.
Passiveness. Yeah.
Passive. Yeah.
like of being
Which is,
passive. You know,
yes,
people
like,
tend to be
okay,
very
yes.
passive.
Mhm.
So if you're anywhere outside of that normal expected behavior, people tend to look you in the wrong way. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay, so I'll try to be simple. Um, when you go out in the streets, you see, even meeting new people, I see
Mhm.
that people are very passive to, for example, ideas to politics. So
Okay.
when I try to discuss, like if I'm going to discuss with someone about politics, and they are very passive, so they don't have like ideas about what the government is
Okay.
doing. So
Got it.
they completely trust the government, like pure blindness.
All
They
right.
don't try to see what's behind of the curtain. You know,
Mhm.
what's behind of this politics, this propaganda. No, I completely trust my life with the government, and I'm okay with that. And if I try to explain my vision about what I disagree with, why I disagree with, people saying, "Oh, we have a, a weird guy here," you know,
Got it.
because
So you're the square peg in the round hole.
no, it's
No,
not about that. It's just about questioning. People
okay.
don't question here in Brazil.
Okay. All
That's
right.
a thing about the culture.
They're
People
happy with
don't
the
question.
status quo, and why question it? Okay. Got it.
People don't
Mm.
question it, anything at all about the government, about the culture. So, oh, okay, why do we do this like this around here? I don't know. We just do, you know.
So what qualities should a political leader have?
Well, this is a hard one because I don't trust politicians, you know. But I
I don't
think
think anybody else does in any country. No, I'm completely disillusioned with British politics.
yeah, a normal politic would have like common abilities like the communication, the charisma, the ability to adapt to stressful situations, like if they're question about something that might damage their image, something like that,
Right.
and they're able to get out of this situation naturally. You know, I believe these are common traits of a politician, but I don't know.
Can
Yeah,
leadership skills be taught, do you think?
they can be taught, they can be developed,
Hmm.
but natural leaders are something else. You know, that is something
Yes.
that cannot be taught, because if you get a natural leader and someone that is not, like I said, it's, I would say, more passive, and develop in the same terms their skills of leadership, they won't be at the same level. You know, they won't have the same skills. They won't be like performing in the same way. You know, because someone who have those skills naturally, it's already ahead of it. It's already have an advantage. So yeah,
All right. Well, our minute is up. Our minute is up. Our hour is up.
yeah,
Uh, well, it's been very interesting talking to you. Maybe if we meet again, we will do this topic, or maybe we'll do something very different. I don't know. I mean, I did read your profile. Yes, advanced level English, you certainly do have. Yeah. Whether you learnt anything or not, I don't know. But it's been very engaging talking with you, talking to you.
sure, it
So
was nice, very nice.
okay, my pleasure. So I wish you well in your, I don't know, I was going to say in your plans and dreams. I don't like using dreams. It's so pathetic. In your ambitions, in your goals, and achieving them.
Thank you, Ross.
Yes, and
See
just
ya.
yes, follow your heart.